Hey guys, Jamiy, and today on Roblox we're playing some more Loomian Legacy, as you can see on the screen right now. Obviously with the mastery update we got a lot of the items for rallying as well. They are fairly high. Obviously I don't remember all of the levels that you need them off the top of my head, but I know that for the yo-yo it is very high in the 40s, and for the totems it's 24 for the smiling one and 26 for the scowling one. I would recommend completing mastery before you want to rally. It's going to take a while, but it's definitely worth it to have all of the items. So obviously having all of the toys, all of the feeds, except from the jewel fruit. The jewel fruit you cannot access yet. It is not in the mastery right now. It'll probably be in a higher level in the mastery, like further like down in a few updates, I would imagine. So there is that. So just wanted to make sure that you know that. But I will do a video talking about the jewel fruit whenever it comes out. Just like right now, you don't need to worry about it because you cannot get it, so we'll keep that in mind. Anyway, with that being said, I'm going to split this video into like multiple parts. So in like the first half I'll talk about the toys, the feed, the totems, and then stuff like rally moves and stuff like that, just to like keep it all organized, and also you can like I guess skip ahead to what parts you I guess mostly want to hear. Anyway, if you are new to it, I probably would advise starting from the beginning just so you can get used to what everything does. And at the end, you can go ahead and try and get some new PvP Loomians. With that being said, though, I guess let's hop into it, and we'll start with the toys first. So then, like I said, we're going to start with the toys first. The rubber toy is probably just not really that great. I would advise just skipping it, really. You don't really need to worry about that then. So then, the ones that you do need to worry about, though, is the yo-yo, the puzzle cube, and the bouncer ball. The yo-yo is obviously the best one. And yes, it is the best one. This is what you want though for endgame. This is not going to be a toy that you want to use when you're just getting into rallying, because it's actually just going to hurt you and not actually help you in the slightest. So what you want to actually start using is the cube or the bouncy ball. So a good example then is, let's say I want to get myself, in this video, a brand new Zulong that also has secret ability. It's going to take me a while, but I want it to have very nimble and minus defenses, or nimble and smart, and and then my very negative one will be one of my defenses, or my melee attack. I guess it doesn't really matter in that regard. So then, with that being said, obviously I would need to start off with something with nimble. So as you can see, I have a pure nimble Weevault, but if I wanted to go for the smart one, I need something with smart. So since I don't have a Weevault with smart, I can go ahead and get any other Loomian with smart. I just happen to have a harmonized box which has pure personalities for Duskets. You don't need to use Duskets. You can literally go into the wild and just capture something. Eventually you'll capture something that has a pure smart one, and it doesn't even need to be pure. You can just use one that has at least a smart. It could be smart and frail, it could just be smart and something else. You mostly just need a smart one. So I'm going to use this Dusket just because I have it, obviously. So what I can do then is I can put this Dusket in the rally, and now I can pick, do I want a nimble one or do I want a smart one? Obviously with that then, I can use the bouncer ball, which will pick me the leader. So I'm actually going to quickly turn these off. So in this regard, I can also choose the bouncer ball. That means it will choose the leader's positive personality, so that means it'll pick nimble. So every time that now I rally a new Loomian, I will always have a nimble Weevault at the very least. If I wanted a smart Weevault, I would choose the cube. The cube will pick from the assistant slot, and also my assistant is smart, so every time that I get a new Weevault, it will have the smart personality. And then obviously once I get to the end game, which it is weird that I'm not going to talk about the yo-yo in the toys, but that's because the yo-yo is something that you want to use at the very end. So if you're going to work on totem stats and stuff like that, then also all the feed and stuff, it's a very, very late item that you want to use, so I'm not really going to mention it. So I'm going to just quickly mention the bouncy ball and the puzzle cube. That's basically what they do. Whatever you want to pass down from the leader or the assistant, you want to use the toys. So with that being said, that's basically the fundamentals of the toys. Anyway, onto the next one. Okay, so next up is the feed then. So obviously we have the strawberry, the blue melon, the tutti fruit, and the wonder bean. Again, the jewel fruit isn't available for us right now, but it will be, I guess, later in the game. Anyway, You probably won't really need to use the Strawberry or the Blue Melon, but basically what Feed does, it will pass down UPs. So then obviously the more forces you have on your UPs, the better. Although I should mention that Feed does not take boosted stats. So for example, there are things like shards, which you can have, like the energy shard, the defense shards. These will boost your UP points by 10, also capping out at 40. It does not apply, those boosted stats do not apply to the Feed, unfortunately. So if you have a boosted stat, it will take the original value. So for example, let's say my Dusket has 6 in the range defense. I can use 4 range defense shards on it to make it 40. Although if I'm using the Feed on it, it will still take the old value, which is 6, which also isn't that good. So you got to keep that in mind. It doesn't take boosted stats, it will take the original stats of them. With that being said though, you probably won't really need to use the Strawberry or the Blue Melon at all. The Tutti Fruit and the Wonder Bean are really good. I'd also say that the Tutti Fruit is probably the better one in this regard, at least this early on until we get the Jewel Fruit, but the Tutti Fruit is pretty good. The Wonder Bean is also good, but the Tutti Fruit is probably what we're going to want to work with. So then, in this situation, if you're starting out, your best bet is to either try and trade for some really good UP Loomians, or to have Duskets and Ikazunes. I know it's kind of like annoying because you got to try and find Ikazunes and Duskets, and if you don't have any, it's going to take a while, but you only really need a couple of them just to get you started. So as you can see, every time that you catch a Dusket or an Ikazune, they will have 340 UPs guaranteed. So in this regard, my special attack Dusket has 40 energy, 40 range attack, and 40 speed. But as you can see, the rest of the stats are just completely rolled at random. So it can land between 40 and it can land between 0 and 40. So it's like a 41-sided dice basically. So also you can see my health is like decent, and the rest of them completely suck. Although you could get really lucky, like I did my Gleaming Dusket. I got 40 in the health, melee attack, and speed. But then I rolled a 38 on both of my melee defense and my range attack, and then I got a 32 in my range defense and a 31 in my energy. I got really lucky with this one, and I'll probably use it for a lot of rallying from right now, I guess. So basically, you want to try and have things with more UPs. Also, the more you have, the better, and the easier it's going to be. If you don't have any, it's just going to take a while to get really started, but you kind of need to start with some 40s before using feeds, otherwise you're going to just keep passing on lower tiered UPs. So basically, what the Tutti Fruit does is it will take 3 UPs from both parents. So in this situation, it will take 3 UP stats from my Weavolt, and it will take 3 from my Dusket. So in this situation, it'll be completely random. I could pass on, let's say, the range attack, the melee defense, and the melee attack, which also are the worst ones, but you can pass them on from the Weavolt. We're just going to keep rallying a few times, and eventually my goal is to get the 40 from the Weavolt's health, the 40 from the energy on my Weavolt, and then I guess the 36 on my range defense. That'll be the goal for the Weavolt, and on that same Loomian, we're trying to get the 40 range attack and the 40 speeds, and then also whatever else comes out, which also they're kind of low, but once I then start getting new Weavolts that have better stats than my Dusket, I can then just replace my Dusket with the better Weavolt, and then keep doing it, and just keep replacing them, and eventually you'll get some Weavolts that will have that can potentially have all forces across the board. The end goal is to try and get something is to try and get 6 forces. So obviously if also it's not going to work for Dusket because you can't rally them, but let's say for Weavolt, the end goal is to try and keep rallying to get 6 forces. So you can say I have 40 UPs on all of my stats except from speed, which is fine. And then I want another one that might have speeds. So then let's just say, for a good example, just to make it easier, is my first Weavolt has 40s from top to range defense, and my second Weavolt has 40s from speed to energy. So also, my first one doesn't have max speed, and my second one doesn't have max health. That's actually perfect, because that way, whenever I'm rallying, I will most likely pass down 6 forties, and then the last one, which also there are 7 stats, is completely rolled. So if I rally 41 Weevaults then after I've done all of that, there's a good chance I could get 740 UPs on all of my stats, which is also the end goal. So the Tutti Fruit is really good for that situation. Obviously, if you don't have like a good assistant to use for UPs, I wouldn't recommend the Tutti Fruits, but the Tutti Fruit is really good. So like I said, if you have Duskits, I would recommend the Tutti Fruit, and then just swapping out Duskits with more Duskits. And then obviously for the Wonder Bean would be useful if you don't have any like good assistants. So let's say you have like a good Weevault, which this Weevault is pretty good. I could pass down the UPs from health and energy, and range, defense, and speeds. So that's why I would want to use the Wonder Bean if I didn't have a good Duskit. And then also I can rally and get like some pretty good UPs from that. And then also I can like keep swapping out stuff and make stuff better. So that's basically the idea for feed, is just to keep swapping out and eventually you like get something decent. But like I said, you mostly need to start with 40s in order to get more 40s. It's just the way it goes, unfortunately. You're gonna need stuff. The best way to actually do it is to have multiple Duskits. So like I said, if you have any friends that have multiple Duskits, that is like the best situation, or Ikazunes, I should say. So let's say my Duskit has 40 health, 40 energy, 40 melee attack. I will use that Duskit with my Weevault, and once I get a new Weevault that has the same 40s, so my new Weevault also has 40 health, 40 energy, and 40 melee attack, I then use that Weevault and put it in my leader slot. And then I take my second Duskit and replace it with my first Duskit. So the second Duskit has 40 melee defense, 40 melee range attack, and 40 range defense. So now my new Weevault that I'm using has 40 in the first 3 stats, and my second Duskit has 40 in the second 3 stats. And then also, that's the best situation for me to get even better Weevaults than before, and then you just keep doing it until you get like new Weevaults that have really good stats. Also, I'm using Weevault as an example. You can do this with any Loomian though. It's just that for Weevault, I feel like a lot of people are still going to go for them, so it's just like easier to explain a Weevault because that's probably going to be the first thing that I go for. So basically, that's how the feed works. It's just a lot of trial and error until you get a lot of good things. It is easier though if you have Duskits and Ikazunes, so I would like suggest trying to like help some of your friends, I guess, help with them, because like I said, I have a lot of Duskits since I do a lot of hunting, so I can afford to like use a lot of Duskits with bare stats, so that's basically it. Anyway though, that's basically for feed. That was a little bit of a long segment, I know, but just wanted to make sure I get that across. Anyway, next up I guess is Totems. Okay then, so next up is Totems then, and we'll talk about the yo-yo as well, because also I didn't mention it before then. So then, also, I'm going to take that one off, I'm going to take these ones off as well. So then, first up is the Smiling Totem. So basically, if you don't know what this does, the Totems can give you new stats that we couldn't really get before. So what you can get is, if you're using the Smiling Totem, it will say, you will rally Loomians with 2 positive personality traits and 1 strong negative. So obviously, if you don't know, we have, I'll use this Zulong as an example. This Zulong has dull and clever. Also, these are normal personalities. So also we have a normal positive one and a normal negative one. The dull decreases my energy by 10%. The clever personality increases my range defense by 10%. If these were very ones, so basically, if it's normal positive, it's plus 10%. If it's normal negative, it's minus 10%. If it's very negative, it will decrease it by 20%. And if it's very positive, it will increase it by 20%. So basically, that's the entire idea. So then, for the Smiling Totem, you will get 2 normal personalities. So on a Weevil, I could get a Nimble and Smart, increase my speed by 10% and increase my range attack by 10%. But along with that, I need to take 1 strong negative one, which also means I'm going to get a very negative one, which means I would probably slap that in, I guess, one of the defenses. So one of my defenses is going to drop by 20%, which also is a big threat to it. You could put into melee attack, I guess, for Weevil if you really want to. It's just an example, okay? So then, with that being said, you cannot get rid of that very strong negative one. That's the idea of totems. So instead of like getting 20% stats for free, you have to take the negative with the good. So yeah, so there's a lot of situations where like you could get some stuff that are better. That's basically this idea for the smiling totem though. Next up is the scowling totem, which does the opposite of that. So instead of getting 2 good personalities, you get 1 very strong personality. So for Weevil, I would probably go for very nimble, which means that my speed will get a 20% increase rather than just a 10% one. But along with that, I get an additional 2 negative ones. So for Zulong, I would probably slap it onto both of my defenses. So I'll get my range defense will drop by 10% and my melee defense will drop by 10%. Again, it depends on what Loomian you're using. Some of them are going to be better than others. Zulong wants a lot of speed and range attack. The rest of the stats don't really matter as much. It's already really frail anyway, so it doesn't really want to take a hit, to be honest. So, like I said, it's just an example. Every Loomian is different though, so you got to try and like figure out what set you want. Like, for example, Chartiki could want range attack and maybe a little bit of defenses, maybe a little bit of speed on certain situations. It's all preference and what you're going to use. That's basically the idea for the totems. Now then, let's talk about the yo-yo a little bit. The reason why I didn't mention the yo-yo before is because this is the toy that you want to use at the very last. So, like I said, most people are going to go for the totem stats. So let's say I want to go for I want to go for a smiling totem. I want my Weevault to be nimble and smart. What I would do then is I would equip the smiling totem, so also I'm going to get two positive personalities. I will then think, okay, well, my Weevil has nimble. I am going to pick the bouncy ball, because obviously now it's going to pick the positive one from my leader, which is Weevault. So now, every time that I get a new Weevault, I will always have nimble. The second positive one will be random. So I will always have nimble, but the next one, which is positive, could be random. So it could be melee attack, melee defense, range attack, and range defense. Obviously, my goal is to try and get a nimble and a smart one. So I just got to keep basically redoing it until I get nimble and smart. Once I've done that, we're good to go. But obviously, I also have the 1 strong negative one to worry about. So basically my end goal, I guess, in this situation is to try and get a nimble, a smart, and I guess for me, I would probably go for foolish, which is range defense. So I want to go for very foolish. So I'd have to like keep rallying until I get very foolish, smart, and nimble. And once I've done that, then I can go ahead and lock on the yo-yo. The reason why you have to do that before you use the yo-yo is because the yo-yo cancels out the totems. So when you have the yo-yo on, it basically ignores the totems from now on. The yo-yo completely copies the personalities from the leader. So if my leader, which also like I said, I want nimble, smart, and very foolish, every time, if I put that Weevil in the leader slots, every time that I rally a new Weevil and I have the yo-yo turned on, it will 100% stay the exact same. I will have nimble, smart, foolish, nimble, smart, foolish, new Weevil, nimble, smart, very foolish. That's basically how it works for the yo-yo. So that's why I didn't really want to talk about it earlier, is because it's basically one of the toys that you want to save until the very end. So with that in mind, that's basically like the fundamentals of rallying. I went into depth a little bit, but I didn't really want to go in depth too much, but that's basically the general idea. So what I would recommend if I was to do this first is I would probably start by trying to get the personality first. So obviously I would go for a Weevil. Again, the one that I want is probably going to be smart, nimble, and very foolish, so I'll try and get one of those. Once I have it, I'll lock in my toy. Okay, and now that is the personality done. Now I can work on trying to get better UPs. So also I'll use the Tutti Fruit with Duskits to try and get better Zulongs. But also, while I'm getting better UPs, my personality is staying the exact same. And then eventually, once I've got my UPs done, now then I just gotta use like 2 really good UP parents, and then all I gotta do then now is go for the secret ability, and voila, I've got my perfect Zulong that's PvP ready. The only thing I gotta go do now is if a couple of UPs are like bad, like let's say the speed is 35, I can just use a shard on it, and then I can go TP train it. That's basically the idea for rallying. I know I was talking about it very simplistic, but I didn't want to really go too in-depth to make it confusing. But if you have any questions, let me know in the description. Oh, stay out of the description, that's my area. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'll try and get through as many as I can. But before we end the video, there is something else that I want to talk about, and that is, in fact, rally moves. So let me quickly go ahead and delete these then. So then, I'll leave a link in the description to the Loomian Legacy wiki. Oops. So then I'll leave a link to the Loomian Legacy wiki in the description down below, so you can actually go check out all of the rally moves. So then, if you are rallying, there are such things called rally moves, which also a Weevil, for example, cannot get Chili Chomp by leveling up, but it can get Chili Chomp through rallying. So for example, you just need something with Chili Chomp. So a good example is my Himber. My Himber has Chili Chomp, so I can take this, I can go here, I can do this. Now, it's looking for the Chili Chomp. You can do this before or after you've got your perfect Zulong. It depends. I would probably recommend doing this last, but I'll talk about it in both ways. So I'll talk about it then. So in this situation, as you can see, my Weevil already has it because I did it a long time ago. But basically, what I would do is I will get my Himber with Chili Chomp, put in a Weevault. Every new Weevault that I now rally will have Chili Chomp. Once I really get one of them low, what I can then do is I can take Himber off. As long as one of the parents has Chili Chomp, it doesn't matter who it is. It can even be the Weevault that also I just rallied. If I put that Weevil with Chili Chomp, which I do, in the leader slot, and then I can put whatever I want in the assistant lane. Maybe I want to go for another rally move. You can have more than one. But now, every time I get a new Weevault, I'll still have Chili Chomp. So that's basically the general idea. Like I said, there is a list of all the rally moves. Weevil kind of wants Chili Chomp. It's pretty good for like plant type, so definitely would recommend it. It's up to you if you don't want to run it or not, but it can come in handy quite a lot. So that's basically the general idea for rally moves. That's how to get them normally. Although, with an update a little while ago, we did add the ability for you to reverse rally. So this is stuff like how to get rally moves on Duskit. Obviously, like I said, Duskit cannot go in the rally slots, in the leader slot. You can use it in the assistant slot for UPs and personalities, but you cannot put them in the leader slot because they are too rare. So that's Duskit, Ikazune, Ferroglyph, Isagul. Technically, event Loomians you can, like Halloween, Sawchis, Lugling, and Santa Dragoon, you can put them in the leader slot, but every new Loomian that you rally isn't the event variant, it's the normal variant, so in case you're wondering. So then, with that being said, that's how to get them normally. Although, what you can do is you can do them reverse, and you can reversal rally move, or reverse rally move. So basically, let's just say that this Weevault doesn't have Chili Chomp. We'll just say I deleted it. You need to make sure that whatever Loomian you have, so actually a good example is this Zulong. It doesn't have Chili Chomp. I would want it to have Chili Chomp eventually. So what I can do is I can go to the Battle Coliseum, go to one of the NPCs, and you can delete moves. Delete a move. You need to have a free slot in order to make this work. So let's say I deleted Pounce from my Donkey, my Gamma Zulong. What I will then do is put this in the assistant slot and take something with Chili Chomp. It could be my Himber that has Chili Chomp or my Weevil that has Chili Chomp. Put it in here. Then also I just close it, leave it for about 5, maybe 10 minutes. It shouldn't really be 10 minutes, but we'll just say leave it for a little bit. I'll come back to it, let it loads, and then now my Zulong that I left in the assistant slot will now have Chili Chomp. So as long as one of them have it, they can pass it back and forth to each other. Like I said, it depends though what rally moves you want. There is a list of them. So for example, you can't give Zulong Earthquake, it doesn't get Earthquake. There's a specific amount of moves that Zulong can get, and then whatever Loomian can get. So for example, Duskit, even though you can't rally it, you can get rally moves. So you can give it stuff like Flabbergast. So a good example is Ferroglyph. Ferroglyph gets the new Flabbergast move, which is a moderately strong Mind type move. I guess like it's medium damage wise. So I can get Flabbergast on my Ferroglyph. I can rally it with a Sorche. Sorche also has Flabbergast as a rally move, so Ferroglyph can learn it by leveling up, pass it onto a Sorche, and then I can reverse rally it, what I just did to my Gamma Zulong, and pass Flabbergast onto Duskit. That's the only way Duskit can get Flabbergast. So with that being said, I think that is everything that I've touched on now for the rallying and how to do all of the stuff in the rallying and what every item does. Hopefully it helped you. Like I said, I tried to keep it as simple as possible. I didn't really try and go too in depth. Also, from start to finish, your goal is to go from complete garbage to god tier PvP mons. Obviously, at the very start, you might want something like Duskits and Ikazunes with good UPs to actually help you progress with your UPs, but that's basically the hardest part. And other than that, you just got to try and get the right personality that you want and slap the yo-yo on and try and go for the secret ability one if you really want the secret ability one. In that situation, Zulong's secret ability is good, Himber's is meh, so you probably wouldn't really want that one. You just have to worry about the UPs and the the personalities for that one. So with that being said, I think that is everything, although like I did say earlier, if I did miss something or if you want me to go in depth on something else, let me know in the comments down below. I will try and answer as many as I can, but with that being said, I'm going to start rallying this weekend, so if you want to see some live action of someone actually rallying and getting good PvP Loomians, you can come by and hop in my stream and I'll be basically doing it live because I want some new PvP Loomians, because obviously all of the old ones don't have the Totem stats. I need some PvPs with Totem stats, so yeah. Anyway, with that being said, I'm going to leave off there. I'll see you guys next time.